Hey everybody, welcome to Creating Through Chaos. Today we're going to make a reverse canvas reindeer. The first thing you're going to need is a 5x7 canvas from Dollar Tree, some white paint, brown wax, brown paint, burgundy paint, and Glamour Dust. You'll need some paintbrushes, a pair of scissors, a pair of cutters, and a box cutter knife or a razor blade. First thing you're going to do is open up your canvas. And we're going to paint the canvas before we cut it. We're going to paint the whole canvas surface all white. Make sure we get decent coverage. Make sure it's all covered. I just painted that with a chip brush. Now I'm going over it with a softer brush. I'm using the softer brush after the chip brush to give it a smoother coat. Chip brush kind of leaves streaks. Next, I'm going to dry the canvas. Once that's dry, you're going to flip it over and take your box cutter knife or your razor blade, and you're going to cut around on the outside of the staples. Now you're able to peel the canvas off of its frame. Sometimes the corners give you a little bit of a hard time because you're cutting through double layers. You can just set that side apart and start pulling the rest of the canvas off of the back of the frame. Now I just take a small screwdriver and I pop up all of the staples. Once I have them all popped up, I usually go around and do them all first. Get them all popped up. Then you're able to take your cutters and go around. You can use pliers if you'd like and pull them all out. It's kind of a tedious process, but really it's not that hard and doesn't take that long. Now you have a cute little frame. Now you're going to take your brown wax and you're going to use it to stain the frame. Make sure you're getting it inside and all the corners. And you don't need to do the back because you're going to cover the back with the canvas. So you're just making sure you get the edges and the insides. And this is why I had you paint the canvas first, or I chose to paint the canvas first, because once you attach the canvas back to the frame, you're going to have to paint around the brown and you'll end up getting it on the brown. So it's easier just to paint that first and pull it off and then be able to attach it afterwards without having to worry about it. Once you get the wax all applied, you're going to want to take a rag or a paper towel and wipe off any excess. Now you're going to take that and you're going to lay it on top of your canvas so you can see about where you need to cut. And you want to have the painted side up. Now that I can see, I can cut right along the lines that were pretty much already in the canvas anyway. Once you've done a few of these, you pretty much know where to cut. Now we're going to take our canvas. The painted side is going to go inside of the frame, and the back side of the canvas is going to be the back. You're going to run a bead of glue at the very top, or at least this is how I do it. That way there I get an even line, so I know my canvas is lined up, and then I glue around all the edges. So I'm able to pull the canvas down and make sure that it meets all the sides. and everything is even. I press it down, make sure the glue is bonding, and now you have your painted canvas inside of your frame. Next, you can use a pencil and start drawing your reindeer face. And I just did 2 dots for the eyes, and then I just drew little circles up on either side of one of his eyes. And then I did those in a straight line, and then you can branch off with little circles and on either side of your straight line to make it look like reindeer antlers. So basically just making little circles right above each eye. I went diagonally to represent antlers. And now you can draw his nose, and essentially I just drew an oval. I'm touching up the white because I got a little bit of pencil mark on it. I found these stylus, it's called an embossing stylus, at the Dollar Tree, which is basically just a piece of metal on either end of a plastic stick that has like little circles on it. But you can use a pencil too if you don't have one of these. And basically I'm just dipping that into the brown paint, and then I'm covering each of my little circles that I drew with my pencil. And you don't need to have an embossing tool. It's just something that I happen to find because my Dollar Tree has a crafter's square, so they had them and I grabbed them to see how they would work. And they actually work remarkably well. Otherwise, I would have just used the tip of a pencil. And I'm just filling in all of the circle dots that I made with the pencil. Next, I'm going to use the maroon, and I'm going to take a small brush and I'm going to paint his nose. I'm going to use the blow dryer and make sure that his nose is dry so that when I go on to my next step that I don't transfer paint from my hand or anything onto anything else. Give it another quick coat. Make sure that it got fully covered because we really want his nose to be red because he's supposed to represent Rudolph. Next step, we're going to take the black paint. And again, I'm using the embossing tool or a pencil, either one, and I'm going to fill in his eyes. Again, it's just filling in the 2 circles that we made for his eyes right above his nose. And he's really starting to come together. Next, I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to draw him a big smile. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the maroon paint and a paintbrush, and I'm going to dry brush on his red cheeks. So essentially I just took the paintbrush, dipped it in the paint, and then rubbed it off onto a cloth to get most of the paint off and used what was left to make the cheeks rosy. Now I'm going to take a black liner paintbrush and I'm just going to follow the lines that I made for his mouth. Super cute. Next, I'm going to make sure that it's fully dry. And I'm going to use my Glamour Dust and a small paintbrush. And I'm going to put the Glamour Dust on his nose and just his nose because I wanted it to represent Rudolph's shiny nose. And it'll have like a little bit of a glittery sparkle, I guess you'd call it. He turned out super cute. I hope you enjoyed watching this. And don't forget to sprinkle. Thank you.